Name is Abigail Fuller. I will be a sophomore transfer student at Corbin University. I will be starting in the biology program this fall. And to answer the prompt for the scholarship, the Joy Capel Scholarship, the prompt was the most prevalent scientific finding within the last 5 years. And the slide I decided to do was on Panda stem cell research that was done in 2024. So let's go ahead and get started. What are stem cells? According to Medline Plus, stem cells are cells with the potential to develop into many different types in the body. They serve as a repair system, and there are two main types of cells, embryonic stem cells and adult stem cells. This, just even knowing that they're stem cells alone, is groundbreaking research, not only for exploring how to make different types of cells, but in this example with the pandas research, it presents the possibility of treating diseases that pandas have. How are these stem cells created? Scientists, according to Mayo Clinic, have transformed regular adult cells into stem cells using genetic reprogramming. By altering the genes in the adult cells, researchers can make them act similarly to embryonic stem cells, and this is called induced pluripotent stem cells. And in order for them to get genetically reprogrammed, this typically means infusing the cells with new genes, growth factors, which basically alters how those genes patterns are expressed, therefore. The most important thing to know is the doctors who conducted this study, Dr. Thomas Hildebrandt and Dr. Liu Jing, both conclude that creating stem cells from the skin for possible embryo creation is a complete new avenue, having unlimited potential, forming any kind of cell under certain conditions. This was quoted from Science News. They were able to finally make adult stem cells pluripotent or more diverse in cell type creation, which was pretty hard to do before this study. And it even leads potentially even to germ cell creation, which is egg and sperm, to just define it shorter. There are some pros and cons to the different methods of creating stem cells, adult versus embryonic. The pros and cons for adult stem cells is, for the pros, there's usually fewer ethical issues in potential embryo creation. And you can also use adult stem cells for purposes other than creating new cells. Specifically for embryo creation. They've also been used in tissue and bone repair, which is phenomenal as far as that research goes. The cons for adult stem cells is that they take longer to specialize for each species. Dr. Jing was talking about that in the Science News article. I can't even imagine trying to do that for every single species and how that looks different. And the other thing they found was isolating and making enough quantities in lab settings. Apparently, there was an issue as far as just being able to produce what they would need on a bigger scale. I will say with embryonic stem cells, there is a high growth potential to turn to any cell as far as the differentiation, and you are able to culture and isolate them faster in a lab. The cons for embryonic stem cells that are important to note, however, is potential tumor formation, which is a little scary if it's not controlled. And it's also ethically very gray because in order to get the DNA that you need to destruct fertilize embryos in order to get what you need. Why does this matter? The reason I wanted to share this finding is I love animals so much. I want to prevent the extinction of our beloved current species out there in the world. With that said, I'm also a Christian who believes in a creator God, and with that faith, values all forms of life and how they are created. And this includes animals and people in embryonic states. I cannot fathom the process of destructing fertilized embryos, because that's what the definition of an embryo is they become a being at that point to get the information we need. And the ends do not always justify the means and how we get our data. Creating stem cells from the skin with this Panda study is way less invasive, and we have the evidence to prove just that. I hope that this example will motivate mankind to be innovative, yet morally wise in our scientific findings from this point forward. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.